Market Recap Live. I am your host, Joseph Martin, and thank God it's Tuesday. It is Tuesday. Tonight, we are taking a look at ticker C. You might know them better as Citigroup. Citigroup Incorporated was founded in 1998 by Sanford Will and John Reed, with the first office opening in New York City, New York. Now they are a $330 billion publicly traded company in the banks industry and the financials sector, and they are listed in the S&P 500 index. Some of Citigroup's competitors are JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo. We're going to review Citigroup's earnings, their website, and visit the charts to perform a quick technical analysis. But before we do that, let's do our roll call and check our stream poll. We are streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. Let's get this chat going and tell us where you're tuning in from. Put a YT in the chat if you're tuning in from YouTube, and put an FB in the chat if you're tuning in from Facebook. While you guys are filling up the stream and the chat, here's the mission statement. We are building a community over here for people who want to take control of their financial situation by learning how to unlock the wealth building power of the stock market. Let me turn this phone down before it go off again in the middle of this stream. And we are streaming Monday through Friday following trading sessions at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The U.S. stock market regular trading hours are 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And there's a link for the New York Stock Exchange calendar down in the description. All right. Let's get to it. Let's get to these earnings. There we go. We smooth tonight. Citigroup, ticker symbol C, the $226.82 billion company reported its first quarter 2026 earnings today. They have a 52-week high of $130.99, which took place today, April 13th, with a 52-week low of $61.30 that occurred in April 16th last year, which is a trading range of $69.69. And they closed today at $129.58. Citigroup earnings report beat on the top line and reported revenue of $24.6 billion, which was higher than the market expectations of $23.51 billion, and beat on the bottom line as robust growth in non-interest revenues and a diversified business model drove performance. EPS was higher than the analyst and market expectations of $2.63 when they reported an adjusted EPS of $3.06. Citigroup reported a GAAP net income of $5.8 billion, which was higher than the $4 was higher than the $4.1 billion net income they reported this same quarter last year. This represents an increase of 41.5%. So for the first fiscal quarter of 2025, their net profit was approximately 29.3% lower than it is compared to now a year later. The earnings were released before the market opened, followed by an 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time conference call. As far as guidance, management projected continued EPS growth with a strategic focus on technology and returning capital to shareholders. That 52-week low compared to today's closing price of $129.58 represents an increase of 111.4% over about a year. So if someone invested $1,000 in April last year at that 52-week low of $61.30, they would be seeing a gain of $1,113.87. All right, now let's talk about why we visit these company websites. We're looking at the visuals and text to find answers to these key questions. What goods and or services does the company sell? How important are those goods and services to their customers? What makes this company stand out from the competition? How well do they take care of their employees? To find these answers, we browse 4 key areas: the homepage for goods and or services, about us for purpose, vision, and mission statements, careers for employee benefits and opportunities, and investor relations for SEC filings and stock quotes. And for your convenience, all the companies featured in tonight's live stream are down in the description. Now let's get back to Citigroup's website. Let's go ahead and check the site out. Woo, guys, I got a lot of buttons on this stream deck, so just bear with me. I want to make sure I'm pushing the right buttons. So here we go. We got that. That didn't do what it needed to do. So let's fix that. So we want to go to the monitor. Is it this one? That didn't do what it needed to do. Give me a second. I see what it is. I see what it is. That's what was going on. So we might run into, I'm letting you know, we might run into another problem, but as far as right now, we got that going. So let's get the earnings website correct. Full screen that. There we go. Let's zoom in. Where we at? Where we at? It's on the left-hand side. I can't see what that percentage was. I can't see what that percentage was. Let's see if we can exit the full screen. Let's see what the zoom out and zoom in is. Okay, there's 150%. So now I can see it. We don't need to. All right, so here we are on Citigroup's website, and we are on the home page. It looks like they have mission statement and purpose and vision statements right here on the main page. Since their products and services deal with finances, they really not selling you anything like goods and services like shoes and furniture and things of that nature, where you have a bunch of stuff on the main page and different options like we do when we look at a company like Nike. So as you can see, we're done already. So when we look at the About Us section, I don't see something that jumps out at me that would have the vision, mission, and purpose. So I'm thinking it's right here on the main page when they talk about this. So learn more about Citi. So we're going to click that and see if that'll take us to some more information. Yes. So this talks about some of their statistics. So they talk about how much money they move through Germany, it looks like. Is that just Germany? Let's see, let's click this. The number of clients they have, institutional clients, the number of countries they have clients at or in. Okay, so we browsed over that. I'm reading over this, I'm browsing over this. I'm reading. Okay, I don't see anything that jumps out. Here's the mission. Here's the mission statement, guys. Here we go. And then we can click learn more. And they took us to a whole nother page. So the links are down in your description. As you can see, we clicking away. Click. It's taking us everywhere. And we don't have the company on the screen. There we go. So just in case somebody pop in, they'll know what company we looking at. Should have had that on there as soon as we got started. But there we go. So there's the leadership, their strategy. See if we can go back to About Us. That was the mission. So we go back to About Us. I wonder if it was anything else on the page. Their global presence, heritage, the businesses. Yeah, we can move on. So let's go on to find how. Now this looks like it's going to take us to a whole nother website to deal with careers, because it has this little symbol next to it, which you can't see. So I'll take me off the screen so you can see it. This looks like it's going to open up a whole nother website, which it did. And it opened it up on a whole nother screen. So give me a second so I can bring this over. Bam. But now that I've done that, it took something else off of where I was. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Technical difficulties. That's all right. That's all right. We're going to work our way through it. We're going to work our way through it. I don't even see the website now. If I minimize this, minimize that, where is the website? Wow. Did I close the stream? I don't even see the stream now. The stream has to be open. because it's saying that I'm sharing the stream. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, guys, I cannot find the stream. Did I end the stream? I have no idea. It says stream started. Oh my gosh, I have no idea what's going on, guys. I click careers and I do not see it. I can't tell what monitor it's on. If you see me looking left and right, I honestly do not see where this actual window went to. This is crazy. Okay, wait a minute. Market recap live. Here's the restream for Citigroup. I just clicked that and I still cannot see it. And the screen is blank. Let me see if I click this, click F11. No, it's not showing me anything. Wow, guys. I have never had this happen before. Something is terribly wrong and I cannot fix it. I cannot pull up the restream. I can't even control it. This says recently closed. Okay, that could be part of the problem. So I just clicked on it. Market recap live. Okay, okay. I think it pulled it down to this bottom monitor. Give me a second. This is crazy. So if I go to, I don't even see that option on the screen. Here it is. So if I go there, go over here to prompter, and we change this to, this says it's off. Display. No, I don't see it down there. All right, guys, I'm having a major issue right now. I think something is wrong with my computer. So I'm going to have to end this stream and we're going to have to call it a night tonight because I cannot pull up the live stream for me to even see where we are. I can see a window here, but it's not giving me any controls for restream. It's a blank gray screen right now. I don't even know if you guys can still see me. So it says leave site, cancel. Yeah, it's the actual site, man. The site is not showing me anything. It blanked totally out. Can I still see the audio? Yep, the audio is still on. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna have to end the stream. It's saying live, but I cannot see the link. Wow. This is terrible. Can I open a new window? Okay, if I open a new window, I'm gonna see if it'll give me control over restream again. Because it's telling me that the stream has started. So everything is live right now. So I'm gonna just enter studio through here. Okay, not just great. Give me a second. So I have the control again. Okay. It has multiple cameras in here. Yeah, guys, I'm in the stream tonight. I got too many technical difficulties going on tonight. So normally I'll fight my way through it, but seriously, you can see I'm sweating like I'm sweating. I can't do it this time. The computer done crashed. I tried to look for everything. I did on there, have a nervous breakdown trying to figure out what's going on. So now has two cameras pulled up. Maybe I can fight through this. I'm not gonna give up. Let me see if I can get this together. Because it shouldn't have two sources. For some reason, it's showing two camera sources. I don't need two. So let me see if I can remove this source. Video settings. Wow. Why is it showing up with two cameras? It says remove host. Got it. Got it. And I'm hearing myself. So I don't know where that was. Just stick with me. So I'm gonna remove this host. Do that. I'm gonna cut this back on. Okay. We figuring it out. Let me get it together. Let me figure it out. I'm not going to give up. Technical difficulties, we still got to work through them. So let me click my little button that sets up everything for me and see if this can get me going real quick. This is my little cheat code, and then we'll get back to the earnings. And then I will just attempt to fix this when I get to the editing. All right, that went crazy. That's showing the wrong monitor, but I'm gonna fix that. So if I go here, we want to change this source. We want to remove it. Man, I'm sweating. This thing made me so nervous doing what it did. You can't see me. And it's saying that that window is open. That's crazy. Okay, entire screen. We need this monitor. So there we go. I know you can't see me. I'm working on it. So if we maximize this one, this will put me back on the screen. Then we put the like button on. Y'all get to see me struggle in real time to put this back together. I need a towel. I'm sweating so bad. Give me 1 second. All right. So we got that fixed. This is monitoring cam. The other one was supposed to show a ticker. So that is the ticker. Then we got that. Then we got the earnings. The earnings was the split screen, but we don't have that on. So we cut that back on, and then it should put me back on the screen as a split screen. That was that. We go to main, ticker poll. Whoever is sitting there watching me do this, I appreciate you for sitting through here while I'm getting this set up. Because that was a major, major technical difficulty right there. But I think I got enough to get back to the website. So let's go back to Citi, pick up where we left off. So put me back on the screen with Citi. Right here. Here we go. So we back on the website. We were looking at the employees. Scroll up. Yeah. So let's find the employees' careers. This is where it got screwed up because it took us to a whole nother website. So I was about to walk right into that trap again. Hold on 1 second. Let's get a whole nother window ready because I was about to walk right back into the same problem. So hold on. So click careers and hopefully it'll pop up over into this. Yes, it did. Okay, so now we got the career section. Blow this up in F11. Okay, and then zoom in. So now we can browse over the career section. Woo! Boy, I almost gave up. I'm proud of myself. I pushed through it, panicking and all. Sweating like a Hebrew slave. So you got global benefits. Wow. I ain't never heard of global benefits. You got benefits all over the world working for this company. It says learn about them. Remember the links for the links for these websites are down in the description for your convenience. If you want to click on that and find out what global benefits are, knock yourself out. I'm still trying to cool down from almost losing it. Who we are. So it says mission, vision, and steps we're taking to make a difference. So they have this over here in the career section. You can't see it because I'm blocking it. They have it over here in the career section. And let me blow this screen up. All right. So I'm interested to see if it's going to say anything different. So it says specifically their mission. Our mission is to serve as a trusted partner to our clients by responsibly providing financial services that enable growth and economic progress. I'm stopping right there. So if you want to read more about that, pause the video or click the links down in the description. Benefits for a balanced life. This looked like the same picture they had on the other page where it said global benefits or whatever. So the global opportunities that they have, So they have remote opportunities. You can plan your retirement. Here's a company with some childcare support and programs. So I had talked about this before. I had seen a company where they reimburse you for childcare services like daycare and things like that. So they invest in your growth, in your education by training you, mentorships and things of that nature. So what type of financial, I'm looking for like the benefits. Like, is it one page, localized benefits? They're using the word benefit a lot, but I'm not seeing like the specific benefits like we do on some of the other websites. But anyway, let's move on. You can browse through this. We found a quick little section. This is a whole nother website too. So you can search jobs, talent networks, et cetera, et cetera. So let's get off of this. Now I'm about to check to see if clicking on investors relations will take us outside of what I have on the screen. That's what I'm looking at now. Investors relations. Do I see it? Investors. It's over here. So we don't need this right now. So I'm going to close this out. And we're going to go over to investors, stockholder services, investor contacts. Let's just go to investors so we can see if it gives us a bunch of options from this. So it was at the top of the page too. So here we go, stockholder services. We just going to scroll down and see what it says. I don't see anything that says stock quotes. I want to see the stock quote and the charts that they have available on the website. I don't see it. So let's just go to stockholder services. But that means you already have it, right? Yeah, that means you already have it. So they talking about the dividend history, stock play. Here it is, stock price chart. Here's the stock quote. So they trade on the New York Stock Exchange. That's the ticker symbol. So here's the stock quote. Here's the chart that they offer. And then here are other tools. I think the historical lookup would be another tool that they offer on the website for you to be able to use. So let's go over here. Ooh. Let's go back to the right here. Okay, that's working. Let me get my prompter going because I don't have that on anymore. Are we good there? Yeah. It's not moving. So give me a second. Before we look at the charts, we're going to look at this. There we go. All right. Now I'm on the wrong thing over here. Let me get that together. Ooh, I appreciate your patience. Boy, this technical, when you're doing this stuff by yourself, you gonna run into some things, boy. And you got to be able to have a cool head to work through this because you can have a rage quit if you ain't careful. I know I wanted to. And sometimes, I already told you, sometimes I don't even feel like doing it, but I got to show up, got to be consistent. You want to turn this into a living, make some money, you got to be consistent. So I have this going. Let's go. So before we look at the charts, remember, professionals trade from a computer, not a mobile device. Mobile trading apps are limited. Traders lose critical detail and advanced platform features on a mobile screen. So be advised, trading from a phone is usually the least effective way for managing assets. To see every detail, use a full trading platform and watch these streams on a computer or TV. Only use a phone as a last resort. Now let's look at the charts for Citigroup. Let's look at the charts. So this one, we go here. I don't know what I just clicked. It's not even taking us over there. All right, we had a ticker on. Now let me get this together. Because remember, we had to reset everything. There we go. We got that. Now we need to put Citigroup back on the screen. That's not it. Yes, it is. Okay. So we got them up and we are looking at Citigroup. I'm going to drag this over. There we go. What are we looking at? We are looking at a 1-year daily chart with Citigroup. And I don't know if you remember, but their 52-week low is where I'm blocking it at. So let me get me off the screen so you can see it. Double click this. Will it put everything in perspective? Yes. So let me go over here to settings and get these candles to stretch over to the right. This is too far. So let me put in 25 will be fine. Apply. So it'll pull them over. So the 52-week low happened on April 16th of last year. And that percentage change I was talking about from the low to the close was at the bottom of that candle to the close of today. And that was the percentage change, which you can't see now because this is only a 1-year chart. So I'm going to change this to a 2-year daily and grab it and pull it over. And now when I mouse over it, you'll be able to see it. So that was a 111.38% gain from that low to today's close. And I believe we mentioned that at the beginning of the show so you can actually see what that looks like. They've been basically on an uptrend for a whole year. Citigroup has, when we look at the technical analysis. As far as support and resistance, I'm going to take this back to a 1-year daily chart. Put me back on the screen. And we are not going to go back far. I'm not going to go all the way back. We're going to use these recent price levels to try to find areas of support and resistance from here. So I would say I see a zone. So let me zoom in. Am I blocking it now? Yes, I am. So I'm going to take me off the screen. So I see a support and resistance zone. This is what I see. The zone was here. So if we extend this over to the right, we can see that these candles were fighting to get through that zone. And then these candles had wicks that dipped through that zone. So this is an area of support that I see. This is what I see as an area of support. And it looks like it started to trend sideways for a minute before it broke through. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I see another zone here. I don't see a clear support resistance line. So I'm going to say, get my zone. So here is my technical analysis zone for support and resistance. I would say right here. Okay. That's going to be my support and resistance zone. And right now, Citigroup is above it. So I'm going to zoom in. We're going to talk a little bit more about what I see. Put me back on the screen. So this zone right here is going to be acting as support now. And I didn't see a clean line. That's why I drew zones. So it tested it here. It was creeping up towards it here, but it was following the main trend of the uptrend for the whole year that we were looking at earlier. Then it came to that area, tested it twice, kind of got through it, but it didn't stay above it at the close of the session. It fell back in that zone on January 6th. This candle did close above that zone, but the very next day it was right back in it and it trended out of it, caught the trend line. If you can see, these candles kind of rode that trend line, okay? Then it came right back up, got through it. The second candle closed back inside of it. The next candle opened up above it, but it couldn't keep up to the upside. So it fell back down and it came back down and tested the previous area of support. And then it's been trending up since then. It's been making higher lows and higher highs. And it finally been able to get above that support. That was resistance once it was below it, but now it's above it, acting as support. And as you notice, it caught that trend line today based off where we put it at, because that's where we put it at anyway. But we can see that the price was respecting that trend line to the upside. The wick got above it, but it closed right there respecting that trend line from where we put it at. So the price is trading above the 200-day simple moving average and the 9-day simple moving average. So let's get the stock quote for Citigroup so we can move on. So let me cut the floating data box on. That didn't work. Floating data box. Boy, we're dealing with some technical difficulties today. So Citigroup opened at $128.07. They had a high of $130.99, which was also the 52-week high. And they had a low of $126.85, and they closed today at $129.58, which was a trading range of $4.14. And when we look at the volume for today, remember they had earnings today, so we should see increased volume. And shockingly, I don't have it on the screen, so give me a second. Today's volume was 17 million shares of this company was traded today. So let me cut on our volume labels. There we go. So when we look at the volume rank percentile, it was 78.2%. Let me cut the floating data box off. It worked that time. No, it did not. So I got to manually do this, cut it off, take me off the screen, bring me over here. Okay, so here's the label for the volume today. Here was Monday's volume. So it traded 14.4 million shares on Monday, and their average is about 14. So yesterday was about right around average, but today it was higher than average. When we look at the volume rank percentile, that was like 78.2%. So let's break this down. Out of the most recent 252 trading days, only 55 of them had volume higher than today. So that's what we're looking at when we look at the volume on Citigroup. Okay, so let's move on. Check the chat. The chat is good. All right, let's talk. Let's get back to the community. I would appreciate it very much if you guys share the stream, hit the like button, subscribe. And if you wish to send a monetary gift to support the content, Cash App and PayPal links are down in the description as well as on the ticker on the screen. Now let's look at the S&P 500 index to see what they did today by using the SPY ETF. This ETF gives investors an opportunity to participate in the S&P 500 index by tracking its performance. All right, so let's get to the S&P. Let's get to the S&P. Here we are, and let's get that ticker on the screen. We are not looking at Citigroup anymore. So we go up here to the symbol box and we type in SPY, and there we are. Ooh, so it broke through that level of resistance we just drew on the charts not too long ago. So what I really love about doing these live streams, guys, is that you can see that this stuff was drawn before it played out. You can watch it. It's been, well, you can go through the live streams and literally see that we was tracking this price movement before it actually happened. And we were talking about it. We couldn't guarantee that it was going to go up or go down. But what we were looking at was certain levels that it needed to get through and how it needed to get through it, or where it might find trouble at. And based off what you've been learning and what we've been sharing so far, let's say what we've been sharing. So what we've been sharing so far, the volume is increasing. We can literally see that as it got above, when it dipped below this area of resistance, this zone right here, when it got back above it, the volume started increasing on these days. 1, 2, 3. So this Friday, Monday, and then today, the volume was increasing. You can see it right here. So it wasn't just going to the upside. It was going to the upside on increasing volume. That makes a difference, okay? So that's why we look at what's going on with the volume. And then we pointed out yesterday that the 9-day simple moving average, the dashed green line, had crossed over the 200-day simple moving average when this candle had formed on Monday. And then it followed through. Not only did it follow through, if we zoom in, this is going to look crazy, so I'm going to make sure we got enough candles. There's a gap between this high and between this low. And I believe that the low and the open is the exact same price. So that's extremely bullish. That means that the price never dipped below where it started at the day, and it gapped up, with higher volume. That's extremely bullish. Now it's already been moving up. Okay. It's already been moving up. But as far as how it's moving up, it's very strong the way it's moving up from what I'm seeing. So now we need a new area of resistance because it made it above it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to say we're looking at a zone. Okay. So I'm going to draw the zone that I see. These areas seem to have tested this zone quite a few times. I'm going to bring this to the high and I'm going to extend it over to the right. So I'm going to say that zone is going to be resistance right now. If this price, so we got Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So sometime this week, we're looking to see a candle test this resistance or close above it with increasing volume. That's what we want to see. And we'll get some new highs. This SPY might break into the 700s this year. Might do it. So that's what I'm seeing with the technical analysis on the SPY. What are we looking at? We're looking at a 1-year daily chart. Yes. So let's go ahead and get the ETF quote. Open up the data box. So the SPY opened today at $687.69. And the low, I'm skipping down because I wanted to see if the low did dip down. It dipped down by 3 cents. So the low was $687.66. It almost looks flat, but we would have to zoom in to see that little wick at the bottom. The SPY had a high of $694.58, and they closed today at $694.46, which was a trading range of $6.92. When we look at the trading volume, they traded 63.4 million shares of this ETF today, which was actually low volume. Okay. It was low volume compared to its average volume. So we're seeing increasing volume, but it's still moving up on volume that's below average. So let me point that out to you. Let me point that out to you so you can see what I'm saying. So when we look over here, the average volume for the SPY is right here. So it usually trades at least 77 million shares of this ETF in a trading session, usually. But today it traded 63.4 million shares, which was below average. And then on Monday, it traded 54.1 million, which was below average. So we see it increasing from yesterday to today, but it's still moving up on volume that's below average. So when we look at the volume rank percentile, it's only 26.6%. So that means out of the most recent 252 trading days, I just said all of that with me blocking it. So let me show you these labels. I was blocking it. Here's the average. So you can see it. This was the 77 million shares on average. Here's the 63.4 million shares. That was today. And 54.1 million shares from yesterday on Monday. So we can see that it's increasing from Monday to Tuesday today with the volume, but it still has volume that's below average. That's what I was talking about. So the volume rank percentile is 26.6%. So out of the most recent 252 trading days, only 67 days had lower volume than today. So we need to see this volume pick up if we want to believe that this ETF is moving in the right direction, because it's moving up on low volume. It's not a lot of trades happening as the price is increasing. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. Maybe people are scared. They're not participating. And this is the institutions not selling right now. And I can't wrap my head around it, but it's going up on low volume. So that's making me, as a trader looking at the technicals, concerned, because I want to see high volume like we saw with Citigroup. When we looked at the technicals with Citigroup, we saw it moving up with convincing volume. That's what you want to see. You can believe that. You might get faked out with something like this if you just paying attention to the price move, but you're not paying attention to the volume. That's why that's important. All right, so we looked at the SPY. Now we can move on. We can move on, God. We can move on. So let's go ahead. So now we can look at today's winners and losers. But first, we're going to look at the loser so we can end the night on a high note. So let's go back over here to the charts and check the loser out for today in the S&P 500. So right here, we don't need to have a spiral here no more. So let's get that off the screen. We can put that like up though. That won't hurt. How about a like? So we go over here to Market Watch, and I have the S&P 500 already pulled up. We have the market recap pulled up. So we need to change the percentage change. So here it is. The biggest loser for today is ticker AKAM. And if you've been following along, we just covered this company and I was butchering their name. I kept calling them a cami. It's a cami. It's a cami, a cami, a cami, a cami, a cami. So company name is a cami technology or technologies, but we'll look at that in a minute. But today they closed at $88.84. Their previous close was $94.94. So they lost 6.43% today. So let's pull up the calculator. So if someone had invested $1,000 and they got that 6.4% loss, we can multiply this times 0.06. We're going to turn it into a decimal. That person would have lost $64.30. We're going to negate this and add the principal, the investment, back to it. And that's going to deduct the loss from it, which we didn't do right. So what was that? That was 1,000 minus 64.3. So that person will be left with $935.70 from the $1,000 investment from the 6.43% loss. So let's look at AKM, ticker AKM. So we go to analyze. There's the ticker. It is in the information technology sector. I have no idea why they don't have that up here on the screen. So here's a teaching moment. So if we go over to Market Watch, and if they don't have it there, I'm not confident they're going to have it somewhere else, but let's just try it. So I'm going to change this to personal. I have a custom watch list that I created for situations like these. So I'm going to type in the ticker symbol, AKAM. So after I type that ticker symbol in, now I'm going to go over to visualize. When I go over to visualize, it's going to show me a heat map, but it's looking at the whole S&P 500. You can break it down to your watch list. So based on the watch list that I'm looking at, it's going to be in a personal watch list that I created, and I need to go to the one that says temp. When I go to temp, now it's showing me what sector it's in. So it's in the information technology sector. I have no idea why it's not showing up where it's supposed to be at in Analyze, but this is a workaround for you to be able to do it. If you click the arrow, it's going to take you deeper into the industry. So this is the sub industry and this is the industry, or vice versa. I might be saying it wrong, but the more you push the arrow, you're going from sector to industry or sub industry. In sub industry, I can't figure out which one it is, but it moves down to get more and more specific as you keep going through. So they're in the information technology services industry or sub industry, and then the internet services and infrastructure. So it gives you deeper details about where they specifically are in the information and technology sector. But I want to show you something. So if we go back to analyze, I don't know why Bud is up here, but we looked at Citigroup earlier, right? So you can see right here, it says financials, but when we put in AKM, now I know I ain't crazy. When we looked at earlier, that was not showing. And I'm glad we was recording this, but that was not showing earlier when we was looking at this. But now it's showing it. Information technology is there now that we done figured it out on our own. But anywho, let's move on. If I take me off the screen, Cami Technologies Incorporated. Here's their website, and it also is in the link in the description for your convenience. AKM Technologies Incorporated engages in the provision of security delivery and cloud computing solutions in the United States and internationally. It offers security solutions that include web application and application programming interfaces, API, protection solutions which protect web, API, and mobile app traffic from attacks. All right, I'm not going to read no more than that. We'll be reading all night, and if it's anything in here that you don't understand, guys, take advantage. Take advantage of AI. Take advantage of it. Use the tool. Ask the question. All right. My button's working. We in business. Here's their website. We are looking at the home page. Just gonna browse over it. We are behind tonight, so I'm gonna move a little fast. Plus, we already looked at this company before. I think it was like a few days ago. Couldn't have been a few days ago. Maybe last week. I wouldn't be surprised if we did it yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised. These days are becoming a blur for me. All I'm trying to make sure I do is show up for these live streams at this point. So now we have this and we are browsing over it. If you want to browse over the website and look at this, the link is down in the description for your convenience. So they deal with security. They deal with not internet security, but security for protecting your data or protecting the data that they collect. And they also offer cloud services from what I got from what we read and what I'm seeing here. So here's the security mention. Here's the cloud mention. Okay. So now we want to look for about. Here's the about us. Here's their history. Here's some awards. I'm blocking it. So let me take me off the screen. So just the monitor. That's not the ticker we want there. So let's put the right ticker there. Okay. So here's the awards I was talking about. Here's investors relations and here's careers. So we know where they are. Let's go to about us. Here's the revenue they had in 2025, the annual revenue to be specific, the number of employees they have worldwide, and the cities that Cami, put me back on the screen because I'm not blocking anything anymore, is connected their cloud services to. So they talk about the opportunities in different ways that they deal with their customers and employees and people. So let's move on to careers. They have a whole nother section talking about working with the Cami. Careers, here's where you can do the job search. I'm looking for the benefits. They have a lot of video. Well, I don't want to say a lot, but I see a video here. Remember, the link is down in the description for you to be able to browse this on your own time. Cloud and engineering, software testing, things like that, blah, 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 blah. Benefits. I'm looking for benefits. Best workplaces for women. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't even know that was a thing. Some of these awards, it seemed like, no disrespect, but it seemed like some of these awards, they just make up so you can have an award. Like, what's a word we don't have a word for? Best lunchroom in the in the employment industry. Things like that. Like, just make up stuff. Yeah, I don't see the benefits jumping out at me, guys. I don't see a quick button. I don't see a button. Resources, partners, products, why, Cami. This is for their customers. That ain't for employees. They talking about why you should use their services. So let's go on to investors relations because I didn't see anything that jumped out at me about it. So here it is. I know we just seen it. Here it is, investors relations, and I'm blocking it. So let me take me off the screen real quick. Right here, investors relations. There we go. So now this is where we are. Put me back on the screen so you can see what I clicked on. I just clicked it. I know what happened. It opened it on a whole nother screen, so you can't see it. Here it is, guys. It opened on a whole nother screen. So let me blow that up. Put me back on the screen. Take my time, one step at a time. Can I zoom in and zoom out? We already at 150. So we are looking for the stock information, and I already saw it, but I'm still going to browse on the page, but it's right here, stock information, quotes and charts. And here are other investment tools that they offer for you on their website. So we're going to look at the quotes and charts. Here is the stock quote for today, and they do trade on the NASDAQ. Here's the chart that they offer. And if we go to stock information, this is another tool that they have dealing with the historical prices. And here is an investment calculator tool that they offer. Now we are going to go to Thinkorswim. And the cool thing about this stock in particular is that we've already covered it. We've already covered some technicals with this company. Oh, I know why this isn't working. So give me a second. Let's get this together and put our ticker back on the screen. There we go. So now let's go over to the charts. And we're looking at a cami. So we already did some technical analysis. As I've said before, here was the level we put that was supposed to be acting as support. And guess what? Today, they closed below it. So I remember what day we looked at this now. We looked at this on Friday. We looked at a cami on Friday. And I remember that we looked at it on Friday because we used this close on this on this candle to draw this shaded area here. And I was doing that to explain that anybody that expected the stock to go up, they have a long position. They were using the buy low, sell high strategy. Everybody in the shaded area was losing money when the price was down here. They were either breaking even or losing on that trade or investment. And then on Monday, this is what happened. This is this green candle for Monday. So on Monday, it had a high that came up to this area right here. Snap to $97.84. And then today it opened lower. Well, it opened higher than Monday's close. So Monday's close was at $94.94. Today it opened at $95.78, but it looks like the volume, yeah, I'm giving away what we're going to talk about at the end because I'm looking at the technicals for real. But the price went down convincingly with increasing volume and it closed below that support. So I'm thinking the next area of support is going to be right here on the 200-day simple moving average. It was already trading below the 9-day simple moving average, but it closed convincingly out of this zone below the support. And the next area of support that I see is right here at the 200-day simple moving average. So that's the cami. But we're going to get the stock quote right here by cutting on the floating data box. Cut that back on. And we're going to talk about the price action today. So a cami, ticker AKM, opened at $95.78. They had a high of $96.10, and they had a low of $88.50, and they closed today at. So I see somebody with the chat, and I apologize, I missed it, but Susan had asked me something. Suzanne, okay, so late week crash incoming. So late week crash incoming. Susan, I have no idea. This market is so choppy right now, and I don't know if you're talking about the SPY because I wasn't paying attention when the chat came through, but I appreciate the comment. I wish you were still around to follow up that question so you can let me know, were you asking about the SPY or were you asking about any ticker we've already covered so far? Are we talking about AKM or were you talking about Citigroup? So I don't know which one specifically you were asking about, but I do appreciate the comment and for you tuning in. Now, let's get to where I was with this because I glanced up and I saw that. Let's talk about this volume. Did I mention the trading? Let's just pick up with the close. So AKM closed today at $88.84. They had a trading range of $7.60, and the volume for today was 8.7 million. 8.7 million shares of this company was traded today. Now, when we look at their average volume for this stock, let me take me off the screen. When we look at their average volume, the average trading volume for this stock is 2.9. We might as well round this off to 3. 3 million shares of this company is usually traded in a trading session, usually. And today, they did 8.7 million. So nearly 3 times is what they usually get on average. So the volume was increasing. And then we also see what it was on Monday. So on Monday, it was 6.3. I'm gonna round this up because I see that 8. So 6.3 million shares of this stock was traded on Monday. But on Monday, the stock had went up. That's this green candle. So the volume was increasing, but it wasn't moving in the same direction. So on Friday, it was coming down on way more volume. What was the volume for that day? This was 14.2. And if you're trying to figure out where I'm reading that at, matter of fact, I'll just put the floating data box back on so you can see floating. So the volume for Friday was 14.2 million. And then the next day you had half that volume with the price going in the opposite direction. You see how the direction and the volume go together? When it was going down, you can see each time that it's going down, it has more volume than when it's going up. I hope you can see that now. So here's a wonderful example of what I'm talking about. When it's going down, this had 14.2 million shares traded that day. When it was going up, it was 6.2 million. Now today, when it resumed going to the downside, it was more volume than when it was going up. And it was to the downside. And it closed out of that zone we drew below the area of support that we drew at the $90.04. And I don't remember what day we did. It had to be on Friday when we drew that zone. So it closed below that and is headed towards the 200-day simple moving average. So we talked about the volume. Did we talk about the volume rank percentile? I don't think so. So the volume rank percentile for this stock is 97.2, which means out of the most recent 252 trading days, only 7 days had more volume than today. So even though that 8.7 million wasn't as high as that 14, it shows you just how few days. Oh, that sounds terrible. This shows that it wasn't a lot of days that had higher volume than that 8.7 million. That's a good way to put it. It wasn't a lot of days that had more of it. Out of the most recent 252 trading days, it was only 7. So that helps you gauge how much volume you're really seeing, comparing it to a time frame of how many days had average volume. You're not just looking at an average number, but how many days are usually at this volume or higher out of the last year? Well, only 7 of them. Well, that's rare compared to the other 245 days who had lower volume than today. That's how we gauge the volume. So this was a great example of looking at how the volume played into the price action. I'm interested in that question that Susan asked. I really am. I wish I knew what she was talking about. I don't know if she's talking about the entire market or a specific company. I wish I knew. I wish I had caught that chat that she put in here while she had did it. I'm gonna show it again. I wish I could answer. I'm gonna have to look into this. Okay. So let's go to analyze. So when we go to analyze, we need to go back to market watch so we can get to the winner. I'm lost because I pulled up this visualize. Let's go to the quotes. So we got to go back to the S&P 500 watch list. That's why I was looking. I'm like, what am I looking at? So this is the losers. Here we go. So we're looking at the winner. So let's put it on the screen. Bam. The winner for today is Hood. The hood. Ticker Hood. They had a 10.35% gain today. Their previous close, which was Monday, was $71.67. And today they closed at $79.09. That 10% gain, 10.35% gain. So if someone invested, let's pull this calculator out, $1,000, and they got that 10.1035, they would have received an ROI of $103.50 on top of that $1,000 principal, that investment they started with. So if we add that to it, they're looking at $1,103.50. That's how much their investment would be in total, including their initial principal and the ROI, the return on investment, added together. We got to use these financial terms so you can get educated and used to the parlance, to the language, to the vernacular, to the vocabulary that they use to try to talk over your head. Once you know the language, you'll know exactly what they're talking about. So let's go over to analyze after we select it. So analyze tab. So ticker HOOD, HOOD, are in the financials sector. Here is the company name under the company profile, Robinhood Markets Incorporated. Now, this platform is very popular for traders who trade using their phone, which is something that I warn people. I try to warn them and advise them it's better to trade from a platform. You'll be able to see so much more, but this is very popular for people as far as retail traders or amateurs or people that, in my opinion, don't take trading seriously, but they want to get into trading and investing. So starting is better than not doing nothing. But as you get deeper into, let me put me back on the screen. As you get more involved with trading and you start to understand it better, you start to realize how limited trading from a phone is. But because so many people trade from their phone, it's kind of hard to wean people off of it. It's very hard because they're focused on the convenience versus what they're missing out on and certain features and things like that. But I'm going to share more and more of the differences as we get further and deeper with these live streams, okay? So let's go back over the description with HOOD. So Robinhood Markets Incorporated operates financial services platform in the United States. The company, blah, blah, blah. This is one of those things, and I'm blocking it. You can see gibberish right here. So I'm going to use this as an opportunity to show you a different resource, okay? That's what I'm about to do right now. So let me pull up a different resource, new window, bring this over. So we're going to go to Yahoo. So we go to Yahoo, click on finance. We're going to full screen this, and we're going to type in the ticker HOOD, HOOD. There we go. Am I on the screen? No, I'm not. And I got this ticker up here. Let me get all this together, and we got the wrong thing there. We are looking at HOOD. So let me put that on the screen. Okay, I'm flowing now because I can see what's going on. So here's the ticker for HOOD, and we're going to go down to profile. So if you look on the left-hand side, we click profile, and we're going to scroll down to the description, and here it is. So now we don't see that gibberish like we saw on the Thinkorswim platform. Sometimes it's a glitch. Sometimes in the description it has stuff like that. So I don't know if this is the exact same thing, but let's see. Robinhood Markets Incorporated operates financial services platform in the United States. The company's platform allows users to invest in stocks, exchange traded funds, ETFs like the SPY we talked about earlier, and American depository receipts. It offers fractional trading, recurring investments. We're not going to read this whole thing. Just wanted to show you where you can find it. And here's the link for their website on the Yahoo Finance website as well. And it was on the Thinkorswim platform. Let me just push the button, get us back over there real quick. So here it is. We already saw that. So that's that. Now let's go to HOOD's website. Let's go to their website. So if I hold this, there we go. Okay, the button's moving smoother now. So here's their website. I didn't browse through this earlier. I just went ahead and had it pulled up already. So they offer a trading platform for people in the United States. And I noticed that they didn't say that they offered a trading platform internationally. I thought they operated in more places than just the United States, but the description didn't say that. There's another trading platform that you might want to look at. Webull trading platform. If I'm not mistaken, that platform actually trades in more markets than just the United States. So that's a ticker for you guys to look at and do your own research with. Now, Robinhood shot up like crazy. So when we look at the charts, we will be able to look at that. And I think they're getting into, I'm not even going to get into all that. I think they got a debit card or something, like they're getting into where they have banking or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but I think I had heard something about it. But they stock has shot up like crazy behind news of them expanding and doing certain things that they weren't offering before. So let me zoom in, and we're going to look around for the about. So they talk about what they offer. They even got gold up there. Go down to the bottom of the screen. Ooh, this is a long, bright. I need to back up. This neon is crazy. Let me take me off the screen. I don't want to put my eye out, man. So I'm trying to, here it is, about us. You can't even see my highlight cursor on this neon. So here are their values. Our values are right here. At Robinhood Markets, our values are in service of our customers. Okay, and here are the different values that they focus on to provide their services to their customers. Here's another good one. We believe the financial system should be built to work for everyone. I agree. They talk about education. So they might have, and most, I'm not to describe, I haven't used it, but I do know that most trading platforms do offer educational resources on their platforms, and most people don't even use it. I know Schwab has it. They're the founders of the company. Join us and build the financial system for everyone. So we browsed over the about us, and I think I stopped in the middle of what I was saying. Kind of lost my train of thought. We're talking about education on these platforms. So from my experience, most brokerages and trading platforms that are trading platforms, I'm not talking about third-party apps that do something else. For example, PayPal. PayPal might have an investing or feature within their platform, but they're not a brokerage firm. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about an actual brokerage trading platform, usually have educational resources within their platform. Now, if you only looked on the mobile device, then you probably are limited to what they actually offer on the full platform. Because I do know that when Robinhood, it seemed like when they first started, they were targeting just mobile users. But as they started to expand their services, they built a robust trading platform for people to be able to use their platform on a computer. And I think that helped their businesses a lot, their business model a lot, because it helped attract a different caliber of trader and investor by offering a robust platform. Now let's go to careers. Am I blocking it? It's hard for you to see anyway, but I'm right here on careers. And it took me to a whole nother website. So let me bring it over so you can see it. So I'm gonna drag this over, blow this up, and full screen it. There we go. Did they zoom us out? Yes, they did. So here's the 150. So browsing openings, we build an elite team, applying for the, I'm looking for the benefits. Where are the benefits? I'm looking. I'm telling you what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the B word, benefits. So they still talking about values. Here's the value word again. And this is repeating itself. We just looked at this. I remember seeing these exact same things. That's the value things again. We invest in top talent. So this is office light, and these things expand. Remember, the links for these websites The links for the companies featured in tonight's live stream are down in the description for your convenience. Here are some benefits, best-in-class benefits to fuel your work. So here are some of those right here. They mentioned something about tax-advantaged accounts, paid time off, things like that. Okay, your rewards. So yeah, browse through this on your time. 401k matching, it doesn't say a limit. I like that. It say matching. So whatever you're willing to put in, that's what it seemed like it's saying. Whatever you're willing to put in, we gonna match it. Man, that's 100% return. You know that? You putting your money in and somebody putting in money with it, that's 100% return immediately, man. Oh my goodness. That sound good. Just saying it out loud. All right. Man, they got a lot of stuff on here. So is this, oh, these the different positions they have? I think so. All right, so we seen all that. Now let's go to the investors. Remember, this was a whole nother website, talent community. It's a whole bunch of places we didn't explore, guys. So you're more than welcome to look at your you're more than welcome to look at this at your own convenience, because there's a lot of stuff that we didn't click on that actual careers website. But let's go to investor relations. And let me zoom. And they did this again. This is on a different website. So give me a second. Let me bring it over. Here we go. Blow this up. They pulling up all my business. All right. And zoom in. We are zoomed in. Ooh, this neon green is killing me. Why they do this? This is crazy. They had a different green. Like, this is a highlighter. This is a highlighter green, man. All right. So they talk about the number of the funded customers that they have, the total number of the platform assets, how much value are in the assets that they hold on their platform, the deposit growth rate. I don't know what this means. I want to know what the growth rate is timed on. Is it like an annual growth rate? Is it a quarterly growth rate? And maybe this is what that stands for to answer that question. But the growth rate depends on the time frame. Is it 30% every year and every 2 years, every 10 years? They're not that old. I don't think they're 10 years old yet. But you get my point. You need to know the time frame to know how big this number is. You need to know the time frame. Is this 30%, 36% every month, every quarter, every year? You need to know that. So we did find the investor relation. We're looking for the stock quote. So look at the top, and here it is, stock info. So stock quote and chart. More green. Oh my goodness. Might as well just use their brokerage platform and look at their stock on the platform, because they're going to put you out over here. Here go the stock quote. Here's the stock chart. Do they have any more stock tools? I think historical price lookup. So that's the tool that they offer on their website, at least dealing with the stock from their website. And here are something that looks like candles with wicks and bodies and things like that. So that's the weekly stock data, weekly stock data. I like saying data. All right, let's go over here and look at the Thinkorswim platform. Let's move on. Let's do some technical analysis with Hood. And I'm going to point out what I was talking about, because they had shot up something crazy. So I had been looking at the stock before. So that's the line you're seeing over here. If I'm not mistaken, I think Robinhood was less than $20, guys. And that summer, they had went ham. Oh, they went ham to the upside. So I'm going to take you to a weekly chart so you can see it. This was the move. So in 2024, do you see that six? So in 2022, you could have got this stock for $6.81. But in 2024, this week right here, so that's August 5th, they had a low. Let me cut the floating data box on so it'll be easier for you to follow. Of $13.98. So you could have got the stock for less than $14. in the week of August 5th, the week of August 5th, could have got this stock for less than $14. And from that low to the high that they had on the week of October 6th in 2025. Now, when we mouse over this line, that was 427 days. So less than 2 years, more than a year, but less than 2 years, 427 days. So let's pull up the calculator. So 427 divided by 365. Let's do this a different way. 427 divided by 30 days. So I'm rounding off the number of days in a month. So about 14 months. So in about 14 months, this stock, cut the floating data box off because now you see 3 boxes. 1,000% is right there, right in front of your eyes. The stock went up $139 from $14, almost $140 in less than 2 years. We just did the math, about 14 months. This is what I'm talking about. It's opportunities like this in the market that people have no idea about because they never look at the charts. Never look at the charts. 1,000% return. So remember how we do the $1,000 investment thing? I'm gonna show you what that means. If someone invested $1,000, if you multiplied that times a decimal, okay? Oh my gosh, that's gonna be 10. That 1,000 is gonna be 10.00. That's the 1,000 as a decimal. That person would have turned that $1,000 into an ROI of $10,000 in less than 2 years. Investing in Robinhood at that low that we saw in August, in that week in August for less than $14 to October in 2025 at that high of $153.86. Now that was the whole move now. So let's talk about that. That was the entire move. But even if you caught half of it, that's a 500% return. So even if we added margin for error, like you caught it here and then you got out here, something like that. And let me put that on the screen so you can see it. If you caught it here, let me pull it there and then got out here. I say 100. I'm trying to find a 500 because that 1,000 was crazy. So my math is off. So it definitely is not what I thought it was. But still, catching less of the move, even if you didn't catch the whole move. I'm trying to find the 5. No, you can't get it. That's crazy. But it's still, let's say from here. If you had got it at this high and sold at this high, that's still a 270% return. It ain't 1,000, but it's still a nice return. That's $2,700 as a profit of the ROI on top of the $1,000 investment. But that same opportunity was within that move. This is crazy. Okay, so now from that high down to here, now you're looking at a loss. So let's not just talk about the gains. Let's talk about the losses. So if somebody had made a mistake and bought at that high and then it came down here to the lowest low since that high, now that's a percentage loss of 58%, almost 59%. So that means that if they invested $1,000 at that high, they would have roughly $400 and something left. That's what that is. And I like using the round numbers because it's easy, in my opinion, to get these percentages real quick because you just moving the zeros around. So when I'm looking at the technical analysis, we can already pretty much see, I don't know where I got this line from right here, but it definitely came down and tested that area. I don't know where I got that line from, but you can see it came right down to that line. And I had drew that on there as an area of support, and it actually came to that area and it tested it. So it tested that area at $63.51. And now it's starting to trade back above the 9-day simple moving average. It's still trading above the 200-day simple moving average, and they have earnings coming up on April 28th. They have earnings coming up on April 28th. So let's get these stock. Let's go to, ooh, we got lines all over the place. Now that was I said the wrong thing, guys. So let me fix that right now. I said this was the 9-day simple moving average. This is a weekly chart. So it's still trading above the 200-week simple moving average. And this is the 9-week simple moving average. That was my mistake. This is a 9-week simple moving average, not a 9-day, because this is a weekly chart. And you can see that right here. You see WK. We're looking at weeks. Each candle represents 1 week. So I'm glad I caught that to correct it. So now when we go over here, we can look at some technical analysis. And now when we zoom in looking at days, we can see how much better. Now, we weren't even trying to really draw a trend line. We were just doing this to connect the highs to the low. But we can see how the price is wrapping around that line that we use to get the percentage change, but it's actually riding it on the way down and testing it, which is interesting, at least to me. So let me zoom in. And we're going to look at this right here. So it looks like after it made this move down here and tested the support, the trend is starting to move sideways. I've been saying trading sideways, but I want to say trending sideways. So if we look at the trend was going down. And here it's starting to shift sideways. It's starting to trend sideways. So price actions trend 3 ways: up, down, and sideways. And that's what it seems to be doing. So if I'm looking for an area of support, I'm going to draw a zone. This is going to be the area of resistance. This is a zone of resistance. You can see how these wicks peeked out of it over here. So I'm going to zoom in and show you what I'm talking about. I'm blocking it. So let me bring it over right here. These wicks peaked up out of that zone, but the price never closed up out of that zone. That's why I'm using a zone. So if I zoom out, we can see that it tested that zone right here with these 2 candles. Let me pull it over so you can see. Here are the 2 candles that had wicks that peaked out of that zone at the top. Here are 2 candles that kind of came close to that zone. This one peaked inside of it, but it never reached inside that zone. So this zone is an area of resistance to me. That's what I see in my technical analysis. Now, when I zoom in over here, what I'm looking at now is that it has yet to come back down and test that resistance. That's why I'm saying it's trending sideways. So now when we look at these candles represent a zone of support. Show you what I mean. Support and resistance. This area. You see how these candles are kind of dancing in that zone or on that zone? And then when we look over here, it's in it, then it's testing below it, like it's acting real weird around that zone. Then today it popped above the zone, created a gap. So now you have a gap between today's candle and yesterday's candle. There's no price action between here. They call that a window or a gap. Now it was a window or a gap to the upside. But now the price is heading towards this area of resistance, and it's resistance because the price action is below it, but it is trading above the 9-day simple moving average. You see right here where it says D. So these candles are day candles. These aren't weekly candles. That's why the phrasing changes. This is a 200-day simple moving average because we're looking at daily candles. So it's trading below the 200-day simple moving average, but it's trading above the 9-day simple moving average. And now it's trading within this zone. So now we can see these two zones of support and resistance. And the price action is spending more time within these two zones, in this space, not the two zones, in between those two zones, than it's spending out of it. This was the recent time that it spent out of it, and it didn't spend time out of it that long. It spent more time inside that area between those two zones than it did out of it. So that's what I'm looking at for my technical analysis. And it convincingly went up on higher volume, and I'm just glancing at it, but let's just go ahead and get the stock quote for Hood right now. So when I mouse over this, let's go to the data box. So Hood opened at $75.13. They had a high of $79.28. They had a low of $75.05, and they closed today at $79.09, which was a trading range of $4.23. When we look at the volume for today, the trading volume was 43.5 million shares of this stock traded today. When we compare that to the average volume that Hood usually gets an average volume of 35.4 million shares in a day. So this is higher. How much higher? We're going to look at the volume rank percentile in a minute. But the previous volume was lower than average, and this was Monday's volume. So we can see that the volume is increasing. It actually doubled. So from yesterday to today, it doubled and is moving in the same direction. So up, and then the second up is on twice as much volume in the same direction. So that's what we're talking about when we include volume in the technical analysis, not just looking at the price direction, but looking at the volume behind the price direction. So when we look at the volume rank percentile, it's 79.4%. So out of the most recent 252 trading days, only 52 days had higher volume than today when we look at this in particular stock, Hood. All right, I think we covered a lot tonight, including my crash and burn and technical difficulties that I didn't quit on, man. I'm actually proud of myself, man. So let's go ahead and go to this screen right here. Yeah. Make sure my prompter working. Let's go. So you already know. I hope that you learned something, and I hope that you earned something. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. If you haven't done so already, make sure you check out the whole life insurance link I have down in the description. And make sure you tune in weekdays following the market trading session at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care and God bless.